Hey everybody, this is Blake, and it's been a while since I made a video on this channel. A while back, I had a series that I was uploading called, I think it was Road to 600, was it 600 or 700? I think it was 700, although it might have been 600, but I made that about a month after I started playing chess, and, after I hit my goal, I kind of just stopped making videos, but figured I'd make kind of like an update video, just kind of like, tracing where I am now and where I want to be. So, since that series, I've improved quite a bit. If we go back, if that was Road to 700, that was in May. That was back in May of this year, 7 months later, and I made it to 1300. I did this through basically the way most people learn, which is YouTube videos. I mean, we live in an age, so many instructional YouTube videos. And I even got some chess books, most notably Levy Rosman's, aka Gotham Chess's book. I also got Silman's Endgame course, which, where I'm at, probably isn't necessary, but certainly long term it is a very valuable resource. And then the last one is Simple Chess, which, written by Michael Steen, showcases a lot of Grandmaster games and kind of the ideas behind how Grandmasters think. Certainly helps you incorporate some of your own ideas into the way you play chess. And, of course, analyzing my own games. I've gotten some advice from some other people, so it's been a fun ride. Funny, I hit 1300. October, I hit 1324 in October, and since then I declined a bit. I dropped down, like way down to like 11. I was below 1200 about a week ago, I think, but I clawed my way back, hit 1300, and I figured I'd just play a couple games today, just to, just to make videos. Really, I don't know if this will be a Road to 1400 series. I might upload some games every once in a while, but figured, I think about chess so much differently than I did when I, had a 600 elo. It's just my board vision is greatly increased, and very very more aware of tactics. I've also done a lot of puzzles, so I get into one and just kind of commentate over it. I'll playing a lead S from Azerbaijan. Get e4. I've been playing the Caro-Kann against e4 pretty much every game against e4. I mean, I was playing e5 for a bit, but e6, d5, or sorry, c6, d5, I've just been so used to by this point. I get d3, which kind of a strange move, not really a move you ever see here. You could take, and you give white the center. White's probably, you could take on e4, and if he takes back with the knight, you could play knight f6, and you could exchange there. And it's sort of like, yeah, there is a variation like this. Although the pawn without the pawn on d3, don't know what it's called, but yeah, I think this is fine for black. Here the pin looks pretty strong, and then you usually want the knight on c6 here, usually, but I guess knight d7 can work. Playing c5, playing c6, c5 in the opening is kind of weird, but knight d7, I guess knight d7 can work. It's not, I'm sure it's not a horrible move, but certainly better moves. I'm gonna play c5. This might come back to bite me a little bit, but c6 is just a really good square for the knight in the opening. I could probably try to center this game a bit more. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I'm just gonna jump back with the bishop. Eating some tomato soup while I play. Tomato soup's been my go-to. I just realized the bottom of the board is a little... See if I can... There we go. Okay. If we trade here, we can go bishop e7, and... You could try to trade queens as well. You know. But ideally, if you're playing for a win, these kind of positions, trade queens, it kind of like... It just increases the chances of a draw. Castle, short. You would find this opponent. These doubled pawns on f6. I've heard this exit is good protection for black. Knight c6 to avoid losing a pawn. I was gonna bring the knight to c6 anyways. Get a4, a3. Playing a bit passively. Rook e8, queen c7, I think are both fine moves. Although you immediately get met by bishop f4. So you probably want to fight for the light square diagonal. In this case, I'm going to play rook e8 here. If he plays b4... it would just win a pawn. Open his rook, but win a pawn. e4, yeah. I mean, the pawn's defended, so this isn't really a big deal. Queen d7, possibly. Again, want the queen on the light squares. And then maybe... Our long-term plan, put the rook on d8, or even c8. It's a lot of pressure on the queen there. If he plays this, takes. Oh, he's not gonna... Could play that. No, he can't play it yet. Gotta go rook d8 here. And, probably going to try to move the knight to e5. I probably could have even played e5 there. But I think preparing centralization of the rooks is fine. And yeah, I think as black I'm doing okay here. This bishop is a little passive right now. Okay, so he's going to try to maneuver his knight. I'm just going to hit him with knight e5 immediately. See what he does here. Okay, so he goes queen e2. I think the knight's fine where it is. I think I want to try to take over this light square diagonal. Also opens the rook and gives me a bit of space on his side. Again, I have control over the... Do I have control over d4? He's got his bishop and rook. I've got my pawn, so takes. And I guess he could trade his d-pawn, but I don't think it's very good for him. Here, I mean... We trade knights. Ideally, you don't want to trade this knight, so maybe you play b5 here. Although... You play b5, you also never get to play b6, and this pawn might forever be weak, so I don't know if you want to play that. But it's tough to say. I'm gonna play b5. I might regret playing this, but as of right now, I don't see really a better move for me. f5 is certainly a move. Okay, I'm gonna play b5. That was the first move I was a bit unconfident about. I mean, sure, maybe you could play for c4, but it's going to be tough to play for c4. So he jumps into e4. He says, well, you didn't give me c4, I'll jump into e4. Attacks this pawn. This pawn's being attacked twice. If you play c4, your pawn hangs. Now, as of right now, it's fine. I'm really questioning what my plan here is. You could play c4. If takes, you take the pawn. He takes back with takes back. You can take here. I don't have much time to think here. Man. It seems passive, but I'm gonna play a5. This is really... I'm really having a tough time with this position. He plays d4. So takes with bishop, and suddenly his bishop is insanely powerful. If I play c4, again, he could put his knight here. Oh no, he can't. Alright, I'm gonna take. And now he has a very good control over this diagonal and this diagonal. I'd imagine he won't take here. That seems pretty silly. You can't play bishop c5. You can play rook c8. Now, rook c8... And you... Rook d5, maybe? To play this? Man. Let's try it. As long as I'm not blundering, I don't hate my plan, but at the same time, I don't like this position for myself just because he has a very good dark squared bishop. My dark squared bishop is not as hardly, it is objectively worse. His knight, I mean, we both got pretty good knights. Not the move I was expecting. So he's going to try to hop in here or here with his knight, and then probably going to bring his queen over, and... Well, if he brings his queen here... Oh, that doesn't work. Alright, you know what? I'm going to jump forward with my plan. This also works, because a lot of pressure on this queen with the c1, e8 rook. And what I would take with queen... I guess you could exchange. Exchanging rooks is dangerous because then your back rank is very easily accessible to him, and there's a lot of threats there. Although getting out the bishops off the board is actually really nice for me, I think. I'm having a hard time thinking about this. I'm going to take with queen. Is there a useful discovered attack there, though? Oh, exchanges rooks. What happens if I take this rook? Not sure. He can go knight at 5. A knight is very well defended. Nothing's hanging. Okay. That's fair. He takes over the... what do you call it? The file. Don't think I want to play for a queen exchange. Queen here seems a little passive. I can go here. Go there. Keeping pressure on this pawn. And Also protecting my rook. Always protecting my pieces. I feel like there's a very low chance of... You think this looks better? I wonder if this looks better on the... This does look better. Yeah, as I was saying, less chance I fall into tactics if I defend all my pieces. Although, there's always the chance I fall into a tactic, but... Jimmy wants to play g6 to limit this knight's movement, but... Wow. I could play h6, or even g6. Tough. Could go here. And I'm just gonna play h6. I gotta play quick. I only have 217. h6, and now queen d8 means nothing really. Could play knight c4. Wow, that's a weird move. I take. Does he not know my knight defends? I take. He takes. I take. What's the deal with that? I'm just up a rook. Did he blunder? I wouldn't think people at this level would really blunder like this, but... Wow. And a win. Okay. Wow. I mean... What a game. I get a win. I get my free analysis. I paid for chess.com premium for a while, and then 86% accuracy is good. There was a mistake in there. A couple of inaccuracies. Inaccuracies are really fine, I think, at this level. Inaccuracies don't really mean much of anything, and here's what the one mistake was. So these are all fine. This is all, you know, usual stuff. c5. I had a feeling c5 was a terrible move. And it was. Just like doesn't really improve your position at all. I just really wanted to put the knight on c6, which I did. Here I did. Centralize my rook, develop my queen, and these are all good moves. So knight e5 wasn't really a fan of. It wanted f5. f5, I did think about this idea of playing f5 so the bishop could potentially get over here or get on this long diagonal. Queen c6, better on e6. Does I guess at e6 you have more strength in this file. And b5 was a move I knew it was bad. When I played it, I knew it was a bad move. Yeah, so he went knight e4, which I was a little surprised by. Because I knew he wanted to play, like, if I played a random move, I figured if he plays knight c4 here, this is good for him. And, you know, if we trade knights, and, yeah, this is just very good for white. Then I played a6. So it wanted the knight to come back. Yeah, I figured the knight being here does make the knight kind of a threat if he plays d4, but... Rook d5, to me, it didn't look like a good move. Equal position here. They wanted knight g6. Knight g6, and then probably f4 is probably what it wanted me to play. There's probably some idea of, like, bringing the knight here, the queen on this diagonal, looking at the f2 square, but we trade bishops. Let's take the rook is better. We trade rooks. My queen back, I play h6. And then he blunders his queen. And apparently takes with knight is better. I mean, takes with knight better. You keep your queen. What a good game. I improved to 13. So that means when I play the second game, I will not be dropping to 1200. I will not be losing my 1300 elo today. And I'll play one more game. With Eoz Turk. Now I play white, so I get to show off white too. e4, and we get c5, the Sicilian. I'm very unfamiliar playing against the Sicilian. I just like to play the Alpin, which I really don't know besides c3, d4. As far as no openings, especially opening theory, matters basically not at all at this level. You know, just trying to maintain. I'd rather. I mean, you take you. I feel like I've just got a much better center here. Knight f3, and I guess you could play bishop d2 here. Bishop d2, knight takes, knight b d2, and you're fine. Oh, we can go for it, sure. Could have played knight c3, but I think getting this knight to b3 is perfectly fine for me. Bishop d3 looks good. Bishop e2 is also probably good, and even the pin is probably okay, but he's gonna castle short, so I don't know. I think I just want to develop this bishop here, and then go knight b3 and castle short. I'll castle short. Wow. F6. Wow. This move is like astonishing. Takes with rook. Takes with rook, and then like I mean, there's no immediate threat against the rook, but I'd rather keep my center together, that's the thing. I might just go rook e1 here. Take here. If he trades knights, this is a very strange position. Now, I have a lot of play on the king side here. That is the good news about this position. I have so much play on the king side. I can bring my... I think bringing my rook to e3 is fine. It's not going to be an easy target for him. Yeah. This is a bit kind of aggressive, playing like rook h3, queen h5. Although rook h3 now would not be great, but I think in the future, knight f3 here, or even rook f3. Rook f3. Yeah, I mean, rook f3. Although that would does give away a pawn, so... We need two, maybe? Try queen e2. I want to play rook f3, but giving away this pawn does not look good. Especially from long term for my center. Oh, I just gave away the pawn anyways. Why did I not play knight? Ugh. I had to defend against f2 and guard the pawn at the same time. Yeah, this guy is not, he is not playing around here. Now, so I give up my good center, but I do have, at least for the time being, the safer king. Okay, he's targeting my e2. You could play b3, make your dark square diagonal horrible. Although it's already defended, so don't worry about that. I think for the time being, I should work on making use of this rook. I could go rook c1. I think rook c1's fine. I think e1 also could be an idea. Let me go rook c1. This is a move that I feel like I could see this move 1,000 miles away. The only problem with this move is that after takes, he's going to take there. I seem to be in some serious trouble here. I have to take with rook, actually. If I take with rook, I don't lose the pawn. Then my knight on f3 is pins to checkmate. Gotta be careful. It wouldn't be made. Your king h1, I don't think it would be made, but it would be pretty much a loss if I ever let him take on f2 unguarded, guarded only by the king. Probably looking to go bishop b5. And he's doing pretty good. E5 looks like a great square for the knight. Pretty forcing move. And also locks the e6 pawn. So like if I ever slide my rook over to h3, it's gonna be hard for him to target. I think I'm just gonna slide my rook over to h3. I don't see any reason why not to. I don't see an immediate threat here. Oh my. Yeah, just no. For a second I thought the queen wasn't guarding the f2 square, but it is. And now I've got a lot of threats here. The fact that I have the white knight is a little concerning that I don't have a bishop, but okay, reasonable. Now very tempting to sack the rook here. Let's see. Rook takes, pawn takes. Then there's queen g6 check. Queen g6 check, king here. And then sack the knight. And you're up a rook for a knight. And I don't think there is a mate, but this sacrifice just seems too good to not play, so I'm gonna play it. And I have to make sure I don't... Yeah, no, it's fine. Because after check, if he checks me, if I check him and play the knight here, then checkmate is still... Not checkmate, but check is still guarded. I think I'm doing okay. I'd be shocked if this... Wow. Rook takes f2? Rook takes f2. Alright, I gotta calculate this out. Let's see. Queen h7 check. King f8. There's queen h8 check. King here. Now you gotta keep in mind he's threatening discovered check. But if I just take here... I don't understand. If I just take here, what's he gonna do? I'm not seeing what he's gonna do. This looks incredibly forcing to me. He doesn't have a dark square bishop, there's no pin. I think I can take here. Oh, down the pawn though. Still down the pawn, but I don't know, he isn't... This is very tough to judge who's winning here. Very tough to judge. I could get the more active king. His pawn structure is terrible. Go here. Let's go here. Centralize the king. And I could feasibly win this endgame. It's not going to be easy, and my endgames are not known to be great. I might have to learn to accept. I just gave him a check. In here. He has another check. Well, the other check is guarded. He can't play rook c4. Can't play rook c4. Looking very drawish here. Of course, I doubt it'll end in a draw. I'm thinking to play king d6. King d6. King d6, and he can't play bishop d7. If he ever plays rook f... Because if he plays rook f2... which he could. I mean, it's a very reasonable move. I'm going to go king d6. If I could chop off his center pawns. It concerns me, though. Having the rook on the second rank, though, is very concerning. His rook is much better than mine. It is very concerning. I think my biggest regret this game is not going for the queen g6 check, I think it was. Not going for the queen g6 and then knight f7. Because I miscalculated. I miscalculated that he would still be up a pawn. A miscalculation. He plays d4. d4. Tempting to play rook e2 to prevent rook f2, but at the same time, if he plays this, rook d2, looks a bit dangerous for me. I'm gonna play king d6. Takes. If he plays d2, I play rook d1, and he can't play. I think I have to cover. I think I have to bring the king back to d5 because I can't let him play. This pass pawn might lose me this game. I think I'm losing this game. I'm going to play rook d1. He's going to play d2. If he takes a pawn, I just knight takes. But this is looking pretty grim. Yeah, this looks very grim for me. Oh, well, knight f3 looks interesting. Knight f3, and I think his only move... I mean, he can take a pawn, I take here. I think I just take with... This is very... very interesting. Plays check. King there. Wins a... Oh, no, it doesn't want a pawn immediately. He's out of checks. Go there. Ah, I missed that one. There's always a check I miss. The one saving grace is I have a more active king, but... yeah. And I have to realize this pawn is passed. Takes. Does he trade rooks here? He does not. He gave away his rook! He gave away his rook! Oh, no. That is an unbelievable... I feel so bad. I feel so bad, dude. Man. I went 2-0 today, though. 2-0. I'm just, I think, 8 elo points away from my peak elo. What a game. What a game. I can't believe I won that. That was... I thought I was just going to lose and end up regretting the queen g6 check, but ultimately... Yeah, bishop d3 is a bit strange. I guess it's a bit strange of a move. It wants knight b3. It wants me to put this knight over here. I guess because... seems... I think this is a pretty... putting the knight on b3 is the idea in a lot of things for white, I think. But this is better for white. White just has a pretty big space advantage here. Now here's where I went wrong. I went queen e2, and I just gave up the pawn. I think if I could redo, I just go knight b3. Knight b3 is horrible. Oh yeah, duh. Right, this was the double... the checkmate, or the check threat, and the pawn threatened at the same time. Knight f3 solves both of those, though, so I could just play knight f3. I think that was a candidate move, but I, for some reason, went with knight e2. Queen e2. I don't know why. And then I played knight f3. Shuffled some pieces. I let him trade my bishop. I took with rook. I think with queen is actually better. If queen takes b2, I assume you play rook. Rook c1. Rook c1 viable here? No. Not great. It wants rook c7. Wow. Aggressive. That's aggressive. I don't think this matters too much. I put my knight here, and I, started attacking him. I sacked the rook, and the rook sack it likes. The rook sack, it's actually very even. And queen h7 check. Let's see if this works out the way I thought it would. King f8, and then king h1. King h1 is the best move here. Wow. To prevent discovered check. And then I guess you can continue your sack. Okay. Now if he took me here, let's see if this pays off, right? King h7 and then knight f7 check. Knight f7 check actually better for black. Takes. And better for black. Oh, I guess you're sacrificing. Okay, you're sacrificing a rook and a knight for a rook, so. And compromise king safety, but that's not how the game went. The game went, I'm just a pawn down, and rook e1 is terrible. Why is rook e1 terrible? Rook c8. I mean, I guess he's threatening rook c2. I mean, you can't go rook c2. So he's just gonna easily be able to infiltrate the second rank. Which he kind of did anyways. Yep, so black's winning here. I had a feeling, but I knew black was winning. Because I knew I was going to go rook d1, and then I went here. So where he messed up, where did he mess up with this endgame? He shouldn't have pushed d2, he should have done rook takes b2. Because I had knight f3. So he could have just won a pawn here, decides... now it's a draw. Now I'm losing. I'm losing after king d5. King d5, I didn't see bishop c6 check. I mean, common sense would tell you to put the king on a dark square here, so maybe I go king d6, which was the correct move. Now, how does black win this? Black took here, and I think all black has to do, he takes the pawn, he's a pawn up. So if we trade here, black's still winning. I think the idea here is I have to I have to stop his pass pawn. And what does black play here? Black plays a5. e3. Yeah, that's kind of a complicated king and pawn. I don't fully understand this position, but you have to defend your pass pawn. Black has the opposition. King f5. f4. Yeah, I assume this works for black, because one, black holds the opposition here. Black has a outside pass pawn. So I guess it's tough for white to keep his pawns and also keep control over the outside pass pawn. I'm not going to fully explore this right now, but two good games, both won by a blunder. Because in the first, they both blundered a rook. My first opponent blundered a rook, my second opponent blundered a rook, so clearly blunders around 1300 range are still very prominent, but yeah. I'm definitely, if I win one more game after this, I should hit peak elo, but that's all I got for today, but thanks for watching. I might do more of these videos. I will definitely not make it a daily thing, but I'll try to do more of them. Keep trying to get better, and I think my goal for the end of the year might be 1400. If it's possibly doable, but we'll see. I might put out a video once every few days, play some games, analyze, share what I learned, but that's all I've got. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again real soon.